This summer, Big World, Big Adventures was released, and holy shit did it divide the Thomas and Friends fanbase. A fair number of fans have disowned the movie, calling it an insult, a travesty, a betrayal, what have you. Now let me say, I haven't seen the movie, but I'd like to express my thoughts on the fans' reactions. Even though I haven't seen the movie, I can't help but feel these reactions are incredibly exaggerated, and it's not the first time. Thomas fans are known to go overboard with their opinions. Let me tell a few stories here. I was like you guys once. I loved the series to death. I watched and owned everything. I mean, if you watch Video Memories, you hear at least one Thomas story every month or two. In 2008, it was announced that Michael Angelis was leaving the series, and Pierce Brosnan was labelled as his successor. That did piss me off when I was younger. Mike is still my favourite narrator of the series, and I hated seeing him go. Am I still pissed that he left and Mark Monahan took over? Not really. I'm 25. I can get pissy over things like that. It's like my feelings towards Stefan Noff. Yeah, the Polish dub of the series sucks and can be a pain to work with, but whatever, I'll get over it. Then the series made the transition to animation. I didn't really feel pissed off at this point, but it was definitely where I stopped watching. This was pretty much a Cartoon Network only era for me. I can't help but still feel that I held a grudge against the CGI series, because I never went back to watch it until 2016. Even to this day, people voice off on their opinions of the CGI series, calling it awful and nowhere near as good. I'm willing to bet that even a small part of me didn't like the animation at first. But then I watched it. The animation really isn't that bad, guys. The series looks great. The only problem was the writing. Sharon Miller really didn't do the series any favours as head writer. That is one thing I will agree about. But seasons 15 and 16 are the worst things ever? Come on, I've seen worse. Hell, I actually don't think Wonky Whistle is the worst thing imaginable. Dumb? Yes. The worst thing ever? Probably not. Let me branch out a bit and reference other franchises. Let's go for Pokemon. To this day, I despise the black and white era of the Pokemon anime. I absolutely loathe it. Did it ruin my life? No. Despite the fact that I hate it, it still has some positive aspects. Charizard came back, the animation looked nice, and Pikachu had a massive Electro Ball. It's not the worst thing ever, and I still enjoy the games and early anime. Hell, Pokemon Sun and Moon aren't even that bad. The Ultra games aren't that great, but the anime's fine. What about Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince? I'm a massive Harry Potter fan. I've read the books, I've seen the movies, and I cannot stand that movie in the slightest. To this day, I've seen that movie less than 10 times. That's how little I can stand it. But did it ruin my childhood? Fuck no! The only time I watch it is when my girlfriend and I are binge watching the entire 8-film series. Everything else is fine. We reach Half-Blood Prince, I cringe when I watch the movie, but then it's over and I get over it. It doesn't affect me that much. Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift? Almost as bad, except that it's not a must-watch to get the full story for the series, thanks to Fast and Furious 6. My biggest gripe with this movie is the lead actor's voice. It's the most annoying voice imaginable. And they're talking about bringing him back for Fast and Furious 9. I really hope they don't, but that won't stop me from watching it, because I still enjoy the series. As I've stated twice before, I haven't seen BWBA, and I don't plan to. I don't even plan on watching Season 22. That doesn't mean I hate what I've seen, it just means I have other things to watch on TV, and it certainly doesn't mean BWBA has ruined my childhood, because it hasn't. Thomas was on my watch list for nearly 25 years before this movie came along. That alone cannot kill my memories. If you've watched the show for longer than an hour and a half, and you've watched more than one TV show in your life, it shouldn't ruin your childhood. It's a TV show for 3-year-olds. It really shouldn't have that much of an effect on you. Despite the fact that I haven't seen any movies after The Great Discovery, barring The Adventure Begins, and I have little to no interest in watching any future TV series, I still have fond memories of Thomas and Friends from when I was younger. The series still holds a place in my heart, despite my mixed feelings towards the CGI era, as well as Thomas and the Magic Railroad. Hell, if I'm to be brutally honest, I actually think foreign dubs of Thomas are more interesting than the English dubs at this point. You can thank the multi-language series for that. Sure, you can watch the Ringo Starr version of A Close Shave. Or you could watch the German dub with Manfred Stefan.
Hurra, 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 lachten die Güterwagen. Wir sind abgehängt, wir sind abgehängt. Jagt ihn, schubst ihn, stoßt ihn von den Gleisen, schrien sie.
Bottom line, guys, I was like you. I loved this series to death. BWBA really shouldn't bother you as much as it does. You don't like it? Fine, you're entitled to think that. I still think Magic Railroad was a bad movie. I still get irked by the organisation of Biggest Party Video ever. I still think Chad Valley Video is a worthless piece of shit. But a new low to the series, abysmal, an insult, ruined your childhood, crushed your soul. People said the exact same thing when the series went to CGI, and the Magic Railroad came out, and when Sharon Miller came up with Wonky Whistle and Solar Surprise Day. You'll get over it. As for the series currently being unrealistic, let us remember, these steam engines talk and have serious facial expressions. The show has never been realistic, and trust me, you don't want it to be realistic. Once again, it's a TV show for 3-year-olds. This cannot be the only thing you watch on TV, and it most definitely cannot erase all the happy times you had with the series up to that point. Write off BWBA as a minor bust, and wait for season 22 to come out. Maybe you'll have a good time with what the future holds. Let us remember, seasons 15 and 16 were terrible. Good times lay ahead of that. Maybe the same thing will happen here. I'm sorry I had to make this, but Thomas fans can really get under my skin sometimes. They're not as bad as Pokemon fans, but they can set me off at times. Right, back to video memories. Got shit to make.